I'm Emma Loop, and I'm here with PC candidate Robert de Verteuil, who's running for the Windsor-Tecumseh riding in the upcoming by-election. Welcome, Robert.
Thanks, Emma.
First, Robert, what do you do for fun?
For fun? Well, if I said politics, no one would believe me. It doesn't look like fun, does it? I guess that's my passion. What do I do for fun? Right now, because I got 3 young kids, it's all about the kids. You know, it's all about going to the park, and kids do the cutest things, and yeah, it's a lot about them. But when it's not about the kids, I like to play sports, hockey. I like to go skiing, basketball, volleyball, and I like to watch sports as well. So yeah, that pretty well sums up my life. Right now with the little kids, running around everywhere, it's pretty much it all the time, teaching them to ride their bikes or go on their scooters. That's me, that's my life.
Are you taking any family vacations this summer?
I'm going to take a vacation after this election. I think my family deserves it. It's hard work, so we'll probably go up to my in-laws' cottage and just kick back and do some fishing and teach the kids to swim and not think about politics for a week or so.
Awesome. So that'd be great. So your background is in the auto industry.
Yeah, exactly.
You talked at the last debate about jobs and manufacturing jobs. What do you think the next big employer in Windsor will be?
I think it's the same employer we've always had. It's going to be automotive, but the automotive industry has changed. It's definitely fractured. It's different than it used to be. So we're not going to get a plant with 10,000 people in it. We're going to get 10 plants with 1,000 people in it, or 20 plants with 500 people, or 40 plants. It'll be something like that, because what we're seeing in Detroit is we're seeing the new age of automotive manufacturing. It's based on skilled work, it's based on professionals, it's global, it's all over the world, all over the NAFTA region. There's firms from India designing cars in Detroit right now. There's firms from China designing cars in Detroit right now. We talk about automation. Automation has displaced jobs. Well, where do we make that automation? Right here in Windsor. Companies like Valiant, companies like Centerline. So when people say, well, like the other 2 candidates have said that, oh, it's never going to be the same, we're not going to create auto jobs. Absolutely, we're going to create auto jobs. I believe in it. That's what I do. That's what my wife does. And these are regular middle-class jobs for regular middle-class people like us. We have to fight to protect those. We got to fight, fight, fight. And that's what I believe in, and that's what I promise to do. We can create thousands and thousands of automotive jobs with my automotive strategy that I've suggested, and I'm just disappointed that they spoke out against it without any plan of their own.
And there's a lot of young grads, recent graduates here in this area who have degrees but who can't seem to land jobs. What's the solution to that?
Well, they have to have the right degrees. We have a lot of kids studying psychology, which is absolutely fantastic and very, very important, but there's only so many jobs in psychology. And if you talk to them, some of them are deeply interested in psychology and the human mind and making the world a better place, and some of them just wanted a job. So for those guys that just wanted a job, hey, why couldn't you have taken a 2-year associate degree in college, or why couldn't you have gone into engineering or something that was more focused on what the job market wants? A lot of it is they don't get that advice, and the options aren't always available for them. So we want to make sure that our education, both college and university education, as well as apprenticeships, are focused on where the jobs are. I'll give you an example. Valiant has a program right here in Windsor. For 46 weeks, they'll actually pay you $12 an hour to learn a skilled trade. At the end of that time, you have a skilled trade, you're a skilled tradesperson, you can work in the automotive industry for Valiant or another company, and you got paid the whole time. No student debt. There's kids 20 years old that are launching automotive careers, and we desperately need them. There's a shortage of those type of workers here in Windsor, and that's really holding us back.
I agree. Let's talk a little bit about the environment.
Okay.
We've got some big-time environmental issues here in Windsor with the air and the water pollution.
Okay.
What's the province's role in that?
Well, my number one environment issue this past few weeks has been the heat. It's been really, really hot. Man, my goodness. There's only so much you can do as an entity in Ontario. When you look at our total carbon emissions, if we're talking about carbon emissions in the world, it rounds to 0. So Ontario actually, even if we cut out all carbon emissions tomorrow, it would actually have 0 impact on the world right now. We know China, for example, creates 30% of the carbon emissions. So our role is a supporting player. We have to coordinate with the countries that actually do produce the carbon emissions. That's the only way we're going to get anywhere. There's really not much. Sad to say, there's only 11 million people in this province. We do consume a lot of power. We do produce, a lot of emissions, but in the global scheme of things, it rounds actually to zero. So we have to team up with the people that are going to make the difference, and we have to coordinate with the federal government, the NAFTA region, and especially with global organizations to try to reduce carbon emissions and create a cleaner environment for here in Ontario and elsewhere as well.
Mm-hmm. And you spoke pretty passionately at the debate about energy costs here in Ontario. So how do you bring energy costs down in Ontario without further complicating the system that we have right now?
Yeah, I do tend to speak passionately. Sometimes they say, where are you getting that from? I'm like, you know what? It's from the heart. I'm not here to be a talking head. I'm just going to say what I feel. Mm-hmm. And, you know, definitely for energy cost, it's absolutely unacceptable what the Liberals have done. They came out with this Green Energy Act, which ended up doubling the cost of electricity for many producers. And, you know, we make things here in Ontario, right? Here in Windsor, we make cars. You need electricity to do that. It's not going to run on wind power. So when you double the cost of electricity, you kill jobs. So how are we going to fix that? First, we're going to cancel the feed-in tariff program, which is absolutely unaffordable. We're also going to emphasize affordable forms of electricity that are producing what our manufacturers need, such as nuclear, for example. And also, we're going to introduce a subsidy for certain companies so they can actually set up here without having to wait until we get the prices back down again in 5 years. We don't want them to wait 5 years to create jobs. We want them to come here right now, and we're going to offer them a subsidy so they can actually set up shop right now and not have to worry about the price of electricity for the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm. And another spot that people have talked about with reference to jobs is the healthcare industry. Mm-hmm. What do you think Windsor's most urgent healthcare issue is right now?
You know, for me, it's really seniors. It's really seniors. A lot of seniors they're being looked after by their kids, and their kids are sometimes in their 50s or often in their 60s. So you have people in their 60s with their own health problems looking after parents in their 80s and 90s that need serious help. For our seniors, we need to be able to keep them at home as much as we can. You know, seniors are comfortable at home. That's where they do best. So we need to emphasize home health care. We also need to make sure that the patient is at the center of the healthcare system. You know, it can't be like it is right now where it's very top down and it goes up to the ministry and the patients get shuffled around and you have to make an appointment, to go to a specialist, to go back to your doctor. It's unacceptable. Now, I bought a used car last year. And when I bought that used car, I was able to look up online the history of the car, accidents it had been in, the major repairs that had been done to it. I was also able to log on to the website of my Ford dealer and book an appointment. I can't do that with my doctor. You know, I can't look up my health records online. I can't book an appointment with my doctor online. Mm-hmm. So if I can do that with my car, why can't we do that with the healthcare system? You know, if a used car can put you at the center, why can't our healthcare system do the same? And we look at the states and we say, hey, we're doing great, you know, look at the mess they're in. But the fact is, if we look to the best performing healthcare systems in Europe, we're 20% worse. And that's 20% we could be spending on making people better and keeping them alive. And so I think it's shameful that we haven't made the progress we need and that people are still struggling with basic issues.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Robert, for coming out. That's been a Red Chair Chat with PC candidate Robert de Verteuil.
Thank you.